What if you suddenly found out that your closest friend was a robot? Not a machine with wires and metal parts showing, but someone who looks exactly like a human. Would you feel fear? Would you feel betrayed? Or would you keep calling them your friend? Before you answer, look closely at what you're about to see. Because this is not science fiction, this is not a movie set, and this is not the future. This place already exists. This is the world's most human-like robot production center. And the most disturbing part isn't what these robots can do. It's how real they look while doing nothing at all. At first glance, you don't see machines. You see people. Skin that reflects light the way real skin does. Faces with subtle asymmetry. Bodies with human proportions, weight, and posture. If no one told you the truth, you wouldn't question it. You wouldn't doubt it. You would assume they are human. And that is exactly the point. Here, robots are not built to look futuristic. They are built to disappear into human reality. The goal isn't intelligence. The goal isn't strength. The goal is believability. Ask yourself this: how close does something need to look like a human before your brain stops asking questions? Because inside this facility, everything is designed around that exact weakness in the human mind. Human anatomy is studied down to millimeters. Shoulder width, hip alignment, neck angle, the natural curve of the spine. Even standing still is engineered. Because humans don't stand perfectly still. They shift their weight. They lean slightly. They rest in a symmetry. And so do these robots. But the most critical stage doesn't involve metal or motors. It starts with skin. Silicone bodies are created layer by layer, mimicking real human tissue. Not just the surface, but what lies underneath. Softness where fat would be. Resistance where muscle should be. Subtle firmness where bone naturally exists. Some models even include tiny imperfections on purpose. Uneven texture, minor discoloration, barely noticeable flaws. Because perfect skin doesn't look human, and this place understands that better than anyone. Now imagine walking through the production line. You see figures sitting quietly, standing upright, facing forward. Women. At least that's what your brain tells you. Hair, facial features, natural body proportions. You pause for a second longer than expected. Why? Because something feels real enough to trigger hesitation. You don't think, that's a robot. You think, is she okay? And that moment of confusion is not an accident. It's the result of thousands of design decisions made to cross a psychological line. Up close, you might notice it. A faint seam near the neck. A barely visible line at the wrist. But only if you're looking for it. Otherwise, your brain fills in the gaps for you. That's the most unsettling achievement of this facility. These robots don't need to move to feel alive. Their posture breathes. Their chest subtly rises and falls. Their presence feels intentional. And here's the uncomfortable question. If something looks alive, and feels alive, at what point does your brain stop caring whether it actually is? This production center doesn't just manufacture robots. It manufactures doubt. Doubt about what you're seeing. Doubt about what you're feeling. Doubt about how easily you trust your own perception. These machines are being prepared for the real world. Healthcare, service roles, education, companionship. But the real experiment isn't technological, it's psychological. Because one day, you might meet someone like this outside a factory, on a street, in a hospital, at work. And no one will tell you the truth. So ask yourself again, if your closest friend turned out to be a robot, would you be afraid? Or would you realize that the only reason you trusted them in the first place was because they felt human enough? Maybe the real question isn't how human robots are becoming. Maybe the real question is, how ready are we to accept them as one of us?
It's nominal. We should pass it through.
The curvature on the lumbar region is perfect.
Yes, the detail is exceptional. Release sequence initiated.
Of advanced cybernetics and realistic silicone.
Okay.